Alright guys, this one we're going to be looking at testing our motors and make sure that they function by using our Nanoflo to be able to do that. So at the moment you can see I've got my wiring complete. If I go through that very quickly, you can see I've got my input power going through to a switch with an LED. It's hiding underneath going into the VIN. I also have my pin 1 on my L293D going through to D3. I come across, you can see I've got D4 is the green one going through here. I've got my blue one there going through to D5, which is my in2. If I have a look at the next input pin, I've got then in3 is going through to D7. Sneaking up the very end pin over here is my enable B for the second motor going through to D6, and then the final one over here is my in4, which is going through here to D8. Along with that, I've got my two middle pins attached through using ground, and I've got my 5-volt power source coming through from here into be able to power the IC here. And then underneath, which you can't really see, is that last pin, which is the power for the motors. I've taken it through so it's in parallel with coming in from VIN. So I'm getting the power for the motors directly through here. Now, best case scenario, I'm actually adding some capacitors through to here, so I should have an input capacitor to help smooth those voltages coming in, sitting across there, and I should have another one on the power source for the motor over here. So I'm going to drop those on very quickly. These help it, but it will function without it. So I'm going to drop those two there. So that's in place now. I'm going to now add my motors, so that two outs for out 1 and out 2 are going to go through onto those two free pins next to the ground, and the same deal on the other side. So I've got two different motors. It doesn't matter as long as they draw less than 600 milliamps, which is what is required, or what's the maximum kind of steady current available through the L293D. If you've got motors that are larger than that, you're going to need to go somewhere else. Alright, so now I've got my two motors connected. I've got it connected through to Nanoflo over here. I'm going to go through and make sure I've got the correct device selected. So I've got my Nano selected, and then I want to make sure I've got my COM port. So in this case, I've got a CH340. Yours might say something a little bit different, and I've got a confirmation that I'm connected through on that one there. So now I'm going to go through and connect through to my device. While that's doing here, I'm just going to go and relabel these to make our life a little bit easier. I am going to change these to being a PWM. So the reason I've got that on pin 3 and pin 6 are they are pin enable PWM pins, which means that they allow us to be able to adjust the speed of our motor by adjusting that sort of the average voltage using PWM on a digital pin. There's a whole lot more information that you could find on that I'm not going to go into detail for the moment. So we're going to change that one there to our PWM and then rename it. So there's my enable B, and then I have my next one, which is in 3 and in 4. So they're the ones that I'm using at the moment. So as we went through earlier, we've got the pins connected where we need to. So they've gone through. You can see the pins that I've got attached through here to be able to control with the high or lows. So I'm going to do my first motor here. So let's set him up so you can see that motor move. And I'm going to turn on enable at full speed. And then I turn one on and you can see he's spinning. Now at the moment I am just using the voltage and the current out of the Arduino. So I don't want to put any resistance because I'm pretty much maxing out what this can deliver. It's not good habit, but I just want to very quickly show you can prove that it's working. I wouldn't be trying to run this properly. So for the second one, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add in my benchtop power supply attached to go through that power there, and I'm going to set that up to being about 7 volts. Okay, so you'll see that little LED light goes a bit brighter when that's connected. So if I try that again, you should see a little bit better control of that. So on my power supply, that's telling me it's about 170 milliamps. I can turn the other direction by using that, turning on and off. While it's going, now this is the cool thing about the enable, I can then slow him down. And then bring him back up to speed. Alright, so I'm going to turn that off for the moment and then check my next one. So he won't go on even if I have those turned on and off. So I'm going to turn my enable B on, turn that one, and he is running one way. You can see he's going there, pause it, go back the other way. Now if I have them both high, it's not going to work. I need to have that difference, the potential difference of the voltage coming in and the voltage going down to that ground side. So they are good to go. So same deal, he will allow me to slow or increase the speed with that as well. So that's what we're looking for. Good luck on yours.